and welcome to the Sports and GT channel, a place for performance cars, classic and modern, and everything in between. Hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, give us a like and send us a comment or question. I'll respond to them all.
So here I am in the TVR Griffith 500. This is the last iteration of the 1990s Griffiths that TVR produced. There's a new Griffith, maybe. It's sort of debuted in 2017, I think, as long ago as that. It's 5 years ago it's been knocking around. It still hasn't come to production. Whether it will or not, who knows. The latest rumour is that it might be an EV of all things, which kind of doesn't quite suit where the heritage of Griffiths came from. So winding the story back, TVR was set up in 1946 in Blackpool by a guy called Trevor Wilkinson, and he decided that he would call it TVR, which was a shortened form of his name. So in 1963, a Ford dealer from America, from Long Island, a guy called Jack Griffith, decides to put a small block V8, Ford V8 into a TVR Grand Tourer just to see what it would do, and it was pretty successful, although they should have done something more with the brakes. But anyway, that started a bit of a trend, and the Griffith was born. Within a year or so, though, there were some strikes in the docks which was stopping the TVR bodies from being imported into the US, and TVR were already struggling and they went into liquidation. So let's fast forward to 1981, where a guy called Peter Wheeler, who was a TVR enthusiast, TVR owner, and an oil industry engineer, bought the company. He had one of those kind of like a Victor Kiam moment where he was so impressed he bought the company. Yeah, so he returned to using big V8s, typically choosing the Rover V8, which was plentiful at the time. So in 1991 they decided to revive the Griffith name, using the Rover V8, and they initially used a 4 litre, then it went to 4.5, so in 1993 they used the 5 litre, which is what's in this car. So it drives pretty well. It's a lovely noise that comes out of the back, particularly when the roof is down. It's got like a carbon fibre roof panel and then a fabric kind of hood at the rear. I've decided not to take it off today. It's not particularly nice weather today. It's not raining, but it's pretty cold out. But yeah, it drives surprisingly well. Good acceleration. Supposedly this model had 340 brake horsepower. Now it's got quite a bit of pickup, but I don't believe it did as well as that. It was obviously better than the previous models, but yeah, the claim of 340 may have been a bit overstated. Now, one thing I am pleased about the TVR Griffith is the amount of room that I've got in this car. So I'm a tall guy, I've got very long legs, and you know I can stretch out my left leg when it's not busy doing the clutch. It's got an amazing amount of room, and there's a very good reason for that. Peter Wheeler was 6'6" tall. Now I don't know about you, but if I owned a sports car company, I wouldn't make any cars that I couldn't fit in either. The only thing I haven't quite worked out with this car yet is the heating system. It's getting rather hot in here. It's got these silver buttons and knobs on the lower dash with no real kind of no real indication of what they do. So it's in production for 11 years with about 2,350 built in total. takes a little bit of getting used to is the dials. So you've got the speedo and the tachometer, and the zeros are sort of up in the kind of 1 o'clock position as opposed to traditional kind of bottom left. So that takes a bit of getting used to. It's a bit of a strange thing. Particularly when you're looking at the speed, it's quite confusing because it's gone all that way round, but it's still only at 60, and you think, okay, well, it goes all the way around to 160 potentially. So stated figures are 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds and on to a top speed of 169 miles per hour. Now, this speedo only goes up to 160, so whether or not that's true, who knows? I'm certainly not going to try it on these kind of roads. So I guess like most sports cars, it's one of those sort of cars where it will purr along quite happily in kind of lowish revs. And if you want to get a bit fruity, if you want to put your foot down, you can. The steering's quite heavy, but that's probably exacerbated a little bit by having a very small steering wheel, or comparatively small steering wheel. Second up into third and third up into fourth is quite a satisfying experience. Now, first and second are a little bit difficult. The stick naturally wants to be in sort of third and fourth. When you try and get it over into first, you occasionally find reverse, which is not very tuneful. You're not in first for long. Yeah, second up into third. If you can nail that gear change, that's pretty good. So in terms of values for these, I think it's pretty much the same for any kind of modern classic. It depends on the one you're looking at. This particular one, which to all intents and purposes seems pretty good, seems pretty sorted. One or two little bits and pieces, no doubt, that aren't perfect, but this is what 2094, so this is a 28, 30-year-old car. No, 28-year-old car. I can't do maths. 1994 registered. So this one's just about to go on to sale on the market auction site, and they're guiding it 22 to 32. So it's quite a broad range, but I think they've seen others of this kind of type go for that kind of money. So would you buy one? Is it something that you'd be worth buying? Well, what else would you get for that kind of money? 20 to 30. That's got this kind of power. When you've obviously got your Porsches, you could probably we could certainly get a decent manual 996. You could possibly get a 997, maybe. Chances are they won't have done this kind of mileage. This has got 38,000 on it. I believe it's probably got another 6 because there was a speedo change early in its history. But let's say, so what, you're 45,000 miles on mileage. I don't suppose you'll get a Porsche for that.
So in conclusion, I think if you're looking for something a bit different, a bit of British muscle maybe, then the TVR Griffith is not a bad choice. Parts are fairly easy to come by, as they're from mainstream manufacturers like Rover, Vauxhall and Ford, and there are a number of TVR clubs and specialists to keep you on the road. Thank you for watching. Please like and post a comment. If you'd like to see more videos like this, tap the subscribe button on the right. See you next time. Bye bye.